We're back, everybody. Today we have special guest Richard Vasquez. Richard, how are you doing today?
I am doing well, Ruben, and thank you, Ruben and Jacob, for bringing and inviting me onto the podcast. I'm excited.
So, Richard, we met you, Jacob and I, and our brother Chris at Glendora High School. And hey, Jacob, we were just at Glendora yesterday, right? Enjoying a
Yes, you
fine
were.
Italian meal. And Glendora High School, I guess we haven't really talked much about it, but I think about it a lot because I think I had a great education there. I feel very blessed by the teachers at Glendora High School. Was it 100% great teachers? No, but it was good. It was a pretty high percentage. And I definitely have one in my mind I want to talk about. And I'm 50-50 on the other. It's so hard to pick two because I could pick five or six, but I'm thinking of two. Richard, what are a couple of two great teachers you remember? What made them great at Glendora High School?
Well, so Mr. Kavanaugh is one, um, but and as we were talking about the subject that we are going to talk about two teachers, there's one and I can't remember her name. She was a tall lady, um,
What
and
subject did you teach?
she was like it was math or English. It was
Oh,
English because I didn't like it was English or
Pierce,
history.
Pierce Halverson. Um,
Halverson.
Not Halverson.
Jake, you're
She
thinking
was
of
a
a different
tall
school.
lady.
It was
It's a
English?
tall, kind of manly.
Was it Mrs.
English or
No,
history.
now I don't want to
Uh,
say it when he said Manley. I'm not saying this because you said Manley, but is it Mrs. Hooven?
Maybe Hooven.
She was kind of
Maybe it
tall,
was that.
English,
Yeah.
English.
and she
But
she
that was,
had a very eccentric style to her.
yes. Now we were in school at the same time, right?
Oh yeah, she
Yeah.
she she was teaching there with yeah.
You
You and I were.
graduated in 85 though, and I graduated in 86. Ruben graduated in
No, it's
88.
no, no, I know, but she was teaching there
Yeah,
while
she was.
he
Mhm.
and I were there. That's
Right.
the question. Yeah,
So and if we're thinking about the tall, kind of manly,
I didn't
um,
say that. Richard said that, but go
Richard
on.
said that, not me either.
I'm sorry, just for the sake of trying, because it's really bothering me right now. Now I'm gonna like when we're
It,
done here, I'm gonna be googling. I'm gonna go back to Glendora High School in
it,
1885. Uh, you know why? Okay, so I'm gonna tell you this real quick.
I'm going to say
Uh,
it is Mrs. Hooven. I'm going to reinforce you. I'm
I
going to
think it's
encourage
Hooven.
that. Go ahead, Richard. Mrs. Hooven.
so let's go with that. So when I went into school, I dropped out of 10th grade. Okay, and before I even arrived at Glendora High School, but I finished my schooling and got my diploma in Glendora High, and I was behind a lot of credits. He was willing to meet me before sixth period, before my first period class, which was probably what 6 a.m. I guess, that she was willing to meet me so that I can get these credits in and get this class in for extra credit. So she said, I'm going to come in and early, and you're going to come in, and I'm gonna help you with your credits. Um, and she was not anybody. She was not the favor. Not there was whole. She was not a fan of a lot of people. A lot of people didn't really care for her. She was tough. She
Oh,
was a
yeah.
tough teacher, and but I found favor in her eyes, and
Oh,
so
that's
she
cool.
helped me by opening up her classroom and letting me come in and helped me get these credits. I needed these credits, to graduate on time with my class, 1985. So she stood out. Mr. Kavanaugh, do you know him?
I know that
Uh,
name. What did he teach again?
Gosh, it was either him or one of the other English and history.
Jake,
Either one of them.
One second here. One second.
can I um can I get my you can pause this video.
Yeah.
I could get my yearbook. While he's thinking, maybe I can find who he's referring
I
to.
yeah. Here comes Rube Kavanaugh. I'm gonna say he's like a history teacher.
I want to say you're right.
Hmm.
Man, I haven't opened up this yearbook in maybe since I graduated. I'm opening up the 1987 yearbook. And I don't even know where the teachers are at. I'm just like, maybe they aren't here. Maybe they aren't even in here. Yeah, they are. There they are. Um, but
Kavanaugh.
but it's
He re
anyway.
he retired in
As I'm
1986.
looking, Richard, what was it about Kavanaugh that you mentioned that you liked?
Rich is a tough teacher that he really didn't put up with a lot of stuff. And I was going to use a different word, but
It's a family program, Richard.
but yeah. So yeah, so he didn't really put up with a lot, and you either liked you or he didn't. There was no gray area with him, and he liked me, and I was fortunate because he would go the extra mile for me as well. So those two teachers were pivotal in my education and in me encouraging me to, you get to the end. There's a rainbow at the end,
Yeah.
and you're going to get there. So they were encouraging me, and they were there to help me. We're going to help you get there. And that's what I remember, those two teachers. And if you find the name in that yearbook, uh, I'm going to find those. Mr.
Yeah.
Kavanaugh, I do know. That one
Um,
teacher. Um,
so I never had Kavanaugh, but I'm 99%, 95% sure um, he taught English. And
okay.
I say that because my friends had him, Sean Jacobs, James
Yeah.
Ashley, and so here's a picture of Kavanaugh.
That's him.
Yeah. Now
That's him.
I'm going to show you a picture. So they don't
Mm.
say it's so weird because they just have pictures of oh, remember this guy?
Dwyer. Loved him.
Dwyer.
Dwyer, I'm sorry. I said it
I
wrong, but
didn't
Dwyer.
see. I
Mr.
saw him
Dwyer,
for a split second.
he was the Christian
You don't
Club
remember him?
advisor.
I can't see
Oh, can you
Ruben.
show him one more time,
Oh,
Ruben?
All I see is my name.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, Ruben, I don't.
Right
how
there.
weird. I wonder why he
Oh, yeah,
can't.
okay, there you go. Let's
Oh,
bring
there you go.
that
You're looking in the
up.
wrong place.
Do
Okay,
you
I
remember?
don't know why it's not. There you go. Okay,
Do you remember him?
kind of.
I'm gonna mention.
Did
I'm
you
gonna show
take?
you.
Sorry.
I'm gonna show you somebody I think you were referring to. Um, in terms of that English teacher. Let me tell me if this is her. Oh, okay. This is who I think you were referring to, but is it?
To the right.
Oh, that one?
To the right. The one with the
Her?
glasses to the right.
Oh, the one in the glasses, Ruben. Who's that?
Her?
Who is that, Ruben? Miss
Her?
Morrison?
See the one?
Yes.
Her? That's the
Yes.
one?
Yes,
Yes.
Oh
that's the
my
one.
gosh. I had her. I wouldn't have thought I had her too. Wow.
Oh, what's her name?
What's her
Morrison?
name?
I wouldn't think of her as how you described her. Morrison.
How would you describe me,
That's
Richard?
it. Mrs.
Morrison.
Morrison.
Yes, Mrs. Morrison. Oh, how funny.
Yes,
So
that's her.
how cool. Right on. And then we solved
Is
some
my
mystery.
description is my description too far off?
According to
Terrible.
Ruben, you were off.
Terrible. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't have thought of that, but the one thing you're on the money on is when you said she's tough and not many of her would call her their favorite. She was tough. She wasn't somebody who liked to smile. She wasn't fun, but
Right.
she did her job.
But I
Okay,
found favor with her. Yeah, that's
that's
her.
great.
That is her.
But I'm glad you said that
Uh,
these two teachers helped you get through school because you were somebody who dropped out as a 10th grader and you came back and they helped you push you through the finish line because that's what Ruben and I do, or we try to do, because we teach older students and seniors, and that's one of our jobs is they have to go through English and government to get through, high school to get their diploma. So without those teachers that were maybe like Ruben didn't think much of her as much as you did, but she did a lot for you, and that's great. I mean, I think that's a wonderful story that she pushed you through.
Yeah,
Excellent.
and Morrison, what now? She taught what now? What did she teach?
For me, she taught like what I mean by it might have been a different grade for you, but for me it was English 10th grade.
Okay, so and then Kavanaugh, what is he?
I'm pretty sure
Maybe
he
taught
taught
12th and then Morris did the 11th grade as well.
maybe 12th. I want to say honors. He definitely taught like a higher English class because my friends were in it
Okay,
and they were in that. But he might have taught also other English classes, but I'm pretty sure it was English he taught, Kavanaugh.
okay. Well, those are my two teachers. I don't want to take all your guys' time.
I do want to share the two teachers that please me. I remember their names, and no, no. I do have a hard time with the names too, Richard. Just so you know, I had to think about it for a minute. But I do have to say Miss Zastro, who was my 12th grade teacher, who man, I still remember her lessons regarding how to write an essay. I know how to do an introduction. I know how to do body. I know how to do conclusion because of Miss Zastro. And it's just even if that's anything. But she made me feel good regarding um, just I knew I wasn't as good as the other writers in the class, but she would always give me good input in my writing, and she would push me on to move forward. And even though I felt at times I didn't belong in the class because I felt like we had such great writers and thinkers in that class, she never made me feel less, and I really appreciated that. And I, ran around with her daughter as in friends, and that was it was interesting because she was my teacher, and I knew her family outside of the class, and she was still pretty warm with that. And I thought she was great. So that's one person, Ms. Astro. And the second person, I would say Mr. Dwyer, because I was never his student, but he and I had a really good relationship because he was the Christian club president. I'm president, advisor, and he gave me such great advice and such wonderful, just treating me and all the other students so good. And I really appreciated his just guidance and his advice and his just at the right times too. When I was feeling down sometimes, he would just come in and share with them. I probably had the best relationship with any teacher. The best relationship I had with any teacher was with Mr. Dwyer, just because of who he was to us. But anyway, I would say that those two were the two teachers that really stood out to me. And how about you, Ru?
I um I want to just reinforce what you said about Mrs. Astro. She was a beautiful soul. I
Mhm.
don't know how else I could describe her. She was just unbelievable, and it was very heartbreaking when she passed. It was during my school year. I lost my honors English 12th grade teacher. It was borderline traumatic for me. And I'll never forget her. I've talked about her before, so I won't. I just want to reinforce what you said, and I think it's great that you still remember her essay. I want to talk about Mrs. Hooven. So
Right.
here she is,
Oh yeah, right in the
Mrs.
middle there.
right there, and
Okay.
Mrs. Hooven did lessons that still resonate with me as an English teacher to this day, and that is giving students a voice, letting them get up and not treating us like we're second class citizens. On the other hand, really bringing the best out of us and asking us questions and giving us space and knowing gifted students when they see them. So you're going to get a kick out of this, Richard, but she noticed something different in Jamie. I guess she noticed something different in several of us, but she caught something in him. And long story short, she taught us something called genre, which means category, and how genre can look different. English can look different depending on genre. And that, yes, you can write an essay, but you could also speak. And she had Jamie Wollum, old friend of ours from Glendora High School, who's gone on to some other great things in his life. He did a talk show, and she turned it, and him, they created like a David Letterman type show where he brought me up. He wanted to interview me, and he interviewed a few other people from the school. And and Jamie was a very forthright believer, and he asked very direct questions about people's faith or not. He might also brought musicians, but I just loved how he was real. And she caught that in him and how he was very well liked. And it was just wildly successful. It was incredible. And we had the coffee cup, the David Letterman thing. And it taught me that there were no barriers or boundaries as an English teacher if if you don't if you allow students and give them enough creativity and ideas, they can go to the moon. I mean, it was so great. Um, and so I try to do that in my class. I really think out of the box and creatively because of Mrs. Hooven.
Okay.
Finally, I want to talk about Mr. Scherf, world history teacher in high school, ninth grade. Massive impact on me. He really encouraged me. And one day he filmed me as I spoke, and he gave me very high marks on my content. But he had me look at a video at my presentation, and it was awful. I'll never forget my stooped shoulders. I'll never forget my no eye contact, my low voice. I was embarrassed. I was close to humiliated, but he wasn't trying to humiliate me. He was trying to show me where I was at and what I needed to improve. And I said that day, I will improve. This is a problem. I remember thinking this as a ninth grader. I go, this is a problem that I need to address in my life. I'm a terrible speaker. And he showed me the video. And that's pretty innovative if you think about the year, showing videotaping, technology like that that's pretty strong. And besides being a wildly popular teacher, he was nobody had a bad word. Even my really critical friends who hated everything, my atheist friends, loved Mr. Scherf.
Never
It was,
had him.
it was great going down memory lane with you, gentlemen.
Really, it's good to remember teachers though that had influence on us. Obviously, with you, Richard, getting you through the finish line. With me, how to write. I mean, to be a teacher, I need to, you need to know how to write. And with you, Ruben, of course, not only being a better speaker, but better, student. And then now, I'm sure that all affected you. Like you said, it affected your teaching. So it's cool to remember that and to show respect to those people.
Memories. Hey, but you
It's
know
funny
what?
that
Yes.
now when Astro rings a bell, I'm
Hmm.
not sure how, but when you said essay, and you could do the introduction, the body, and the conclusion.
Right.
I just finished my alcohol and drug course. I graduated, um, and one of the things I wanted. Can I show you?
Nice.
So you are better at alcohol and drugs? What is
He
that?
could drink better than anybody now. No,
I
no,
am
no.
a pro.
He's a pro.
So, so
No, no.
no.
That's cool that
So
you're
when
a
I
counselor.
well, but real quick, just I know we're going off subject here. On the essay part, when I got into this thing, the first or second week, and they said, okay, now you got to do. We had to do reflections, and then we had to do a 3-page essay, a minimum of like 500 words or whatever.
Right.
And I was like, wait a second here. I said, I didn't sign up for essays. We're not. I'm not doing this, and I was going to drop out
Wow.
over an essay.
Wow.
And I was like, this is not what I wanted to do. So now I know essays really well. So
I thought you were going to say my great teacher in 10th grade taught me how to write, but no, you just did some homework.
When you said essay, I knew how to do the intro, the body, and then the conclusion. I'm like, boy, does that bring back memories.
Very good, very good.
Yes, I have to deal with this
Anyway,
all the time. After all these years of teaching this, it's no longer painful. I remember I've been teaching it for like 25 years. It's no longer painful. It took me 25 years to figure out how to do it. That's how hard it's the hardest thing to teach. Hardest thing for the
yeah.
students to learn. It's just hard all around. But now it's painless. Now I can do it. It's like, oh, okay. I figured it out. Good. Good one, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.